Chapter 1 of The Wilderness Princess. Once upon a time in a far-off land, there lived a lovely princess named Thompson. She was the only daughter of the king and queen and was adored by everyone in the kingdom. Thompson was beautiful, intelligent, and kind-hearted. She had everything that anyone could ever want: wealth, beauty, and love. However, all that changed one fateful night when Thompson's carriage was attacked by bandits while she was returning from a royal ball. The bandits kidnapped her and held her for ransom. The king and queen did everything they could to find her, but the bandits were clever, and they managed to evade the royal guards. For months, Thompson was held captive by the bandits. They treated her cruelly and subjected her to all kinds of abuse. They taunted her and made her feel worthless, telling her that no one cared about her and that she would never be rescued. Thompson felt completely alone and lost. She was in constant pain, both physically and emotionally. She missed her family, her friends, and her home. She longed for the safety and comfort of her castle, but it seemed like a distant dream. One day, while the bandits were sleeping, Thompson managed to escape. She fled into the forest, not knowing where she was or where she was going. She stumbled around, her feet sore and her stomach empty. She was cold and afraid, but she knew that she had to keep moving if she wanted to survive. Thompson walked for hours, not knowing where she was going. She tried to find her way back to the castle, but she had no idea where it was. She was lost in the vast wilderness, and no one seemed to care. As she walked, Thompson felt a sense of hopelessness wash over her. She was just a lost princess, and no one cared about her fate. She was in pain, physically and emotionally, and she didn't know how much longer she could go on. Finally, as the sun began to set, Thompson stumbled upon a small cottage. It looked like it had been abandoned for years, but she decided to explore it anyway. She pushed open the door and walked inside, surprised to find a small fire still burning in the fireplace. There were a few pieces of stale bread on the table, and Thompson gobbled them up, grateful for any sustenance she could find. As she sat by the fire, Thompson felt a glimmer of hope. Maybe she could survive in the wilderness after all. She knew that she had to be strong and resilient if she wanted to make it back to the castle. She decided to take control of her own destiny and find her way back, no matter what it took. Thompson picked up a map and started studying it. She knew that she had to find a way out of the forest and back to the castle. She had to prove to everyone that she was strong and capable of taking care of herself. Thompson knew that the road ahead would not be easy. She would have to face dangers such as wild animals, treacherous terrain, and the elements. She would have to overcome her pain, both physical and emotional, and find the strength within herself to keep going. As she studied the map, Thompson realized that she was not alone. She had her own inner strength to rely on, and she knew that she could make it back to the castle if she just kept moving forward. Thompson set out into the forest, determined to make it back to the castle. She walked for hours, her feet sore and her stomach empty. She encountered all kinds of obstacles, deep ravines, raging rivers, and steep hills. But she kept going, fueled by her determination to find her way back home. As the days passed, Thompson's pain began to subside. She still felt the physical discomfort of her bruises and cuts, but the emotional pain of being lost and alone started to fade away. She realized that she was stronger than she ever imagined, and that gave her the strength to keep going. Thompson's journey was not without its challenges. There were times when she felt like giving up, times when she was afraid, and times when she felt completely lost. But she always found a way to pick herself up and keep going. One day, after weeks of traveling through the forest, Thompson finally saw a familiar landmark, the tall tower of the castle. She was overjoyed to see it and quickened her pace, eager to finally be home. As she entered the castle gates, Thompson was greeted by a sea of smiling faces. Her parents, the king and queen, rushed to embrace her, tears of joy streaming down their faces. The whole kingdom rejoiced at her return, and they celebrated with a grand feast in her honor. Thompson felt like she had finally come home. She had overcome her pain, her fear, and her loneliness, and she had emerged stronger and more resilient than ever before. She knew that her journey had taught her valuable lessons about herself and about life, and she was grateful for every step of the way. From that day forward, Thompson was known as the lost princess who had found her way home. She had become a symbol of hope and resilience for the people of the kingdom, and she lived the rest of her life with pride and grace, always remembering the lessons she had learned during her journey through the wilderness.